the pedal to the metal as Cybernet brings the best racing games ever in for a pit stop. Be free as a bird, trapped in a haunted house, okay, so all SNES owners have waited long enough for a decent role-playing game, and now the wait is over. The Secret of Evermore is a massive 24-meg adventure, starring one boy and his dog who stumble upon a strange machine and are hurled into a mysterious world. Just like other RPGs, you have to chat to people, find weapons and power-ups, and take on a whole host of evil monsters. If you think it looks a bit like The Secret of Mana, then you'd be right, because it was made by the same company, Squaresoft, who make some of the best RPGs around. Stay tuned for some interesting news on them later. The Secret of Evermore does have its good points. There's certainly plenty to find, and it'll keep you going for ages. But as far as playability goes, it's not as good as Mana. Some of the battles can get very repetitious, and about halfway through the game you might find yourself thinking, haven't I been here before? But really it's just because it's all a bit samey. Having said that, we managed to stick it out to the end, and the game is still above average compared to a lot of other role-playing games. So basically, yeah, it's good, but it could have been a lot better. Sticking with strategy, Saturn owners can stretch their building skills to the limit with SimCity 2000. Most of you will have seen or heard of the PC version, and the Saturn one is just as good, if not better. Quite simply, you have to build and maintain a city, starting completely from scratch. Start with the obvious, like houses and roads, and before you know it, you'll have a massive metropolis. Just make sure it's all within your budget. If you're feeling lazy, you can play a scenario game where you select an already built city which has a major problem, like a fire out of control or a flood. The aim here is to bring the situation under control and keep everybody happy and alive. If you need to check things overall, then consult the local paper, which will give you hints on what's happening or needs to be happening, or one of the many charts and updates that you can call up at any time. One thing the Saturn version's got that the PC one hasn't is that if you do well enough, some pods will grow in your city, and in time they'll zoom off into space and colonize up there, but you'll have to be pretty good to get that far. If you'd rather solve problems first and then ask questions, Zero Divide is the latest spin on combat games. Filled with a cast of robot opponents straight out of a Japanese manga movie, comparisons are bound to be made to the upcoming Rise of the Robots 2. Facing 8 steadily tougher and more sneaky robots, Zero Divide's actions are fast and very, very light. That is, until you start to get damaged and your moves and reaction times slow right down. Just when it's all over in other games, you can hang on with one metallic claw and come back in style, literally from the brink. Normally you've got hands and feet to deal with, but here you've got to avoid tails, stingers, pincers and range weapons like this dragon's fiery breath. It's just a shame there isn't a very satisfying feeling each time the metal monsters find their target. Get through those guys and 3 new challenges appear, including the dreaded furry bunny. He may look cute, but he'll have you on the floor before you know it. Some news has just landed hot on our desks that the Saturn version of arcade racer Sega Rally has become the fastest selling piece of CD software ever in Britain. And as for the rest of the world, it seems to be doing all right everywhere else too. Yep, 10,000 copies were sold within the first week of launch, and of course this news makes the top bods at Sega very happy indeed. Let's hope it encourages them to keep making excellent games like this, so Saturn owners are kept happy too. Not so good news now, as the company responsible for most of the best role-playing games ever, Squaresoft, have decided to stop supporting the 16-bit Nintendo. The Japanese company have been developing solely for the Famicom and SNES for years, and the relationship's been very good for both sides. But like most other software companies, they've decided to branch out and develop for the next generation consoles, with the PlayStation at the top of their list. Squaresoft are responsible for the game you saw before, The Secret of Evermore, and the brilliant Secret of Mana, with many more classics under their belt. They say they'll develop 2 more titles for the SNES, but that'll sadly be it. Of course, they'll be developing for the Nintendo 64 machine, and you can be sure that anything they do for that will be worth waiting for. Once in a while, a classic game comes along and is never forgotten, and here's one of them. Cast your mind way back to October 1993 and the game that took the video games world by storm, Super Mario Kart. What probably made this game such a winner was the sheer playability. The controls are very responsive, the difficulty levels were just right, and most importantly, it was a whole load of fun. Most of the characters from the Mario platform games are in there: Princess Daisy, Yoshi, and even the evil Bowser. All racers have their own abilities, like Donkey Kong's really heavy and powerful, but his acceleration skills suffer for his road-holding ones. Another bonus of Mario Kart is the ability to pick up objects off the track, which gives you a special item or power. There are 7 items to collect, such as a mushroom, which will give you a short speed burst, or a red shell, which is really a heat-seeking missile, which will make your enemies spin all over the place. There's 20 different tracks to race on, and the aim is to qualify in each cup race, and to go on and win the gold. And of course there's a scoreboard so you can keep track. Mario Kart's certainly not an easy game. Okay, it starts off quite simple, but you'll soon find that the later tracks really are tough. The game's got some really nice touches, like the rear-view mirror, and although it's great if you're playing on your own, it's probably much better played against a mate. The split screen for 2-player mode is pretty clear, so you can keep a good eye on your opponent. And remember to use your shortcuts, there's plenty of them. If you're feeling really unfriendly, then have a go at battle mode, which pits 2 players against each other. The aim is to destroy all the bubbles which surround your opponent, and he's got to do the same to you. This is one of the most enjoyable modes to play in. Considering Mario Kart's quite a few years old, it still ranks up there with the very best in racing games, and is still incredibly smooth and fast for a 16-bit game. And of course, keep your engines running for the Nintendo 64 version, which looks brilliant. Let's just hope it plays as well as the 16-bit one. Racers are one of the most popular game types around, and you'll be surprised at how many there are. Beating someone to the finish line has always been a thrill for a lot of people, and racing games from the earliest ones to today's arcade conversions have brought that thrill home to people everywhere. But as we all know, it's not just when you get somewhere, it's how you get there, and what kind of driver you want to be means choosing from getting real, slip and slide, shoot and burn, and arcade addicts. Some of the first races to come out were inspired by the Grand Prix, from the humble pole position with its basic track and graphics to something like IndyCar. Designers have been trying to make things as real as possible. But not everyone's a Formula One fan, and the chance to drive an expensive sports car in Need for Speed or skateboard down a canyon road might be a little more inviting. The problem with Sims is striking a balance. While it can be quite an achievement to copy a real situation, the excitement you should be feeling can get lost in the translation. That's why others look to slip and slide. Earlier we had a good look at Mario Kart. Proper car design, gear changes, wheel spin, none of them are here, and it doesn't matter. 3D or 2D, it's the same idea. Zip around, bump into your opponents, and have a good chance of catching up, even if you make a mistake. Graphics can be as simple or detailed as you like, but they should never replace that fun factor. No rules means adding any silly features you want, but silly for one person is stupid for another. And anyway, some people can take their gaming very seriously. They might prefer to shoot and burn. For some reason, being serious means being in the future. Everything has to be dark, mean and moody, and if you lose, it could mean, well, at the very least, switching channels.
Not a problem. You know why? Because it ain't real. It's a whole lot better than real, baby. It's virtual television. Reality's worst nightmare.
Mega Race was the first and probably the worst of these high-tech battles. Picking up power-ups and ammo along the way, it was dodgy, jerky handling with the chance to zap your opponents off the track, not just pass them by. The driving bit got a whole lot better in Quarantine and Twisted Metal, but other games traded in the cars for slick spaceships, the best of the bunch being the instant classic Wipeout. Faster PCs and new 32-bit consoles are blurring the line between what's real, what's fun, and what could be, and at last they're giving arcade addicts what they want. Today's arcade racers like Ridge Racer and Sega Rally are drivers' favourites. Home versions mix realism, excitement and plenty of reasons to be silly or serious. Learn every inch of the track to be number one, or just laugh as you completely fail to take a corner. Racing fans haven't had it so good. There's something for every type of driver, but nothing stays still for long. The future's just around the next bend. If you're an internet user who finds the whole thing a bit all over the place, then get ready for this. Most of us know that the internet is jam-packed with just about every subject you could think of, and anything that makes it easier and more user-friendly has got to be a good thing. Access All Areas comes from Team 17 and Ocean, the software company responsible for video games like Worms, and they reckon this is the most in-depth internet package available. But what's it all about? Well, there's loads of internet tools to help you find your way around, such as World Wide Web utilities, email, a search engine, and lots more.
Using an email program, you write a message addressed to an internet email address, which is sent to your post server, a mail sorting office.
Although it looks pretty text-based, the overall presentation is more like a multimedia package. There's a comprehensive help system and lots of places to visit, some of them laid out in rooms, like the games room. Or once you're up and running, why not pay a visit to the big room, which gives you stacks of online support to make the whole thing even easier.
Suddenly, a boy, dressed in green, came flying through the window. And with him came a ball of light, which darted round and round the room. Mrs. Darling woke with a cry, and Nana came bounding in. She sprang straight at the boy, who quickly leapt out of the window.
The boy from Never Neverland is back, and no, it's not Michael Jackson, it's Peter Pan returning to sprinkle fairy dust into our hard drives. All the characters we know and love are here. There's Peter, Wendy, the Lost Boys, Tinkerbell, and of course the evil Captain Hook.
Having no mother, they don't know how dangerous it is to eat rich, damp cake. They will die!
In this CD-ROM version of J.M. Barrie's Kiddies classic, the animated sequences and the voices of the Shakespearean actors narrating makes the whole thing come to life. To make it that bit more interesting, some hidden surprises have been added. Click on various parts of the screen and you never know what'll happen. And if you select the words you want to know more about, the explanation will appear before your very eyes. If this enchanting tale gets a bit, well, boring, you could try taking a more active part by playing one of its 4 games. In Marooner's Rock, you have to answer all the questions right to save Michael from a watery grave. Watch out for the crocs, though. Peter Pan is a really cute package for younger children, and it's great for parents who can't be bothered to read their kids a bedtime story. But you might find that Peter's not the nice young lad you always thought he was.
Next morning, they were sailing for home. Peter, of course, was the captain and took his place at the wheel.
I hope you'll all do your duty as gallant sailors.
He called out.
But I know you're the scum of the Gold Coast, and if you snap at me, I'll tear you apart.
They cheered him and set sail for the Azores.
Okay, so that looked a pretty good multimedia package, but what's made the top 10 this week? Catch up with the latest sounds in MTV Unplugged at 10. At 9, go globetrotting with the World Atlas and Almanac. Down 2 to 8, it's Trekkie Heaven with Star Trek Omnipedia. Lion King Print Studios hanging in at 7. Fun and Frolics at 6 with Aladdin Animated Storybook. While Four-Footed Friend Paws drops 1 to 5. At 4, check out some hot history in 1995 Yearbook. See those stars of the silver screen in Cinemania, down 1 to 3. Up 1 to 2, scan the night sky in Redshift 2. But still at number 1, it's the fact-filled Encarta 96. Bogies and bogeymen in this week's previews.
Good evening. You are welcome here.
I hope you will stay. It's a long time since we had visitors.
No matter how many scary movies we watch, we still fall for the old haunted house routine. We know we shouldn't go in, but we just can't resist it. The idea of this haunted house is to find your way out. Told you shouldn't have gone in there. By searching for 5 keys which will unlock the door. Using your rather tasty-looking fly pointer, you land and click on various parts of the scenery which will either send you to another of the 10 rooms or make something creepy happen. The old skeleton in the closet routine, huh? Or if you're lucky, you'll turn up one of the 5 keys. Fill in all the numbers and you're almost there. The problem I had was that I didn't want to leave. There's so much fun to be had just finding out what's in that cupboard, what happens if I push this or open that, solving puzzles or helping a spider grab its lunch. Ooh, that you might forget about the keys altogether until you accidentally find one. It's not actually too hard to finish the game, but that's not the point when you can do this. And from bogeymen to bogies, if you're feeling a bit under par and want to turn your bunkers into birdies, then those clever people at Gremlin have just the club you're looking for. Yep, we're talking golf, and Actua Golf looks like it's going to be a hole-in-one, which is good in golfing terms. This stroll along the fairways is a real treat. It's got a true 3D playing environment, which allows total freedom of movement anywhere on the hole. Add to that all the real rules of the game, a full running commentary, and it looks like Actua Golf will get you closer to the green than tripping over the flag. Well, we've lost out to time again, and I'm going to go and try all those cheats out. After all that jumping around, I'll leave you with some soothing organic art from the incredibly over-talented William Latham, coming to a PC screen near you soon. We've got a completely stunning show lined up for next week, but you'll just have to tune in to find out how brilliant it'll be. And don't forget to keep those letters and emails coming. See ya!